You know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made, Bostonian flow, I kick it a back day. Yeah, I got game, got in a fan way. We the city of the champs, every sport we play. Spit wetter than the harbor, yeah, I'm flowing like the Charles. I be speeding on this beat, call it Turnpike Miles. Yeah, it's Buku signing on.
Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Once a Week. I'm Billy Giannouloudis. If you haven't been keeping up with any of the recent videos or messages we've been putting out there, we've been having a few guest speakers on the show. And in today's message, we have Andrea Urciuoli back with us, who has given us some incredible information, messages, videos on mindfulness. And today's topic falls under that umbrella as well, with two big topics that many of us have probably heard throughout our lives, but may need to dive a little bit deeper to make sure we get the help that we need. And that is judgment and forgiveness. Guys, let's dive right into it because I know there's something special here. That being said, Andrea, thank you for being back on the show.
Oh, thanks, Billy. Two topics today, judgment and forgiveness. So we're going to dive right in.
Yeah.
And we don't need to dissect the meaning of judgment. We all know what judgment is. But through the studies of mindfulness and the research that I've been doing, judgment. How do we feel when we judge somebody?
Yeah.
Judgment can actually make us feel sick.
Yeah.
When we judge somebody, our chi, our life force, our being of who we are is actually drained out of our body.
Okay.
It could actually make us feel sick, stressed,
Yeah.
worried, anxiety. And actually judging someone else, I'm going to give an example too. I have a great example of a friend of mine that I had judged in the past. But judging someone else is actually based on fear.
Okay.
And the universe doesn't really know if you're judging someone else or judging yourself. That's kind of hard to explain, but if you're judging someone else, you're actually judging yourself because it's all based on lack of.
Okay. That makes sense.
So I remember, maybe 14, 15 years ago, I had judged a roommate of mine, college roommate of mine that we were very close, and she had done something that I didn't care for. I had judged her on it, and I cut her out of my life.
Mm-hmm.
It made me feel sick at the time, nauseous, tense, whatever, but I thought it was the right thing to do, and I was being righteous, and I don't like what she did, and that's not going to be a part of my journey, and so I cut it off.
Yeah.
And she allowed it because she felt so bad. So years went by, and I got married, and had kids or whatever, and I would think about her from time to time, and I didn't even invite her to my wedding. Mm-hmm. That's how offended I was. Well, guess what? The years went on and on and on, and I started to think about her. Her face would pop into my head now and then, and I have some pictures of us, and I said to myself, I guess it took me this long to figure out, who am I to judge her? How do I know what happened to her when she was a child, or what happened with her parents, or whatever? So I remember one day I decided to energetically send her positive thoughts, wish her well. Hope you're doing okay, just thinking about you. All of a sudden, when I started to do that, I started to feel good inside, like softer, my neck. I just didn't feel tense when I thought of her face, because when I thought of her face, my body would tense up because I thought of that negative. Yeah. I was judging her.
You're releasing it with positivity.
Yes, so I took it to the next level, and I sent her a PM, a Facebook PM, and I said, can we talk? And I got a message back within minutes. Yeah. And we ended up talking, and this is why it coincides with forgiveness. I explained to her that I was quick to judge, and that I was sorry, and that it took me so long to reach out, and I had gone through some things in my life, and I finally understood that that was the wrong way to approach a friendship. She was elated that I said that. I forgave her. Boy, did I learn a lot, because we're now friends again. And
that's awesome.
How much lighter do I feel?
Yeah, exactly.
How much better. So I really wanted to share that story
today. I love that. I think that coincides with both the topics, judgment and forgiveness, like you said. And you just put out a lot of incredible information out there. The first piece that stuck out to me was when you said, when we judge someone, it makes us feel sick. And whether you guys have experienced that or not, I've seen that firsthand. I've never taken the route of it with chi, but it does coincide with the same topic where if you're judging someone, if you've hurt someone in the past or whatever it may be, and it sits in you, and it just sits there and sits there and sits there, but it constantly plays your mind, you're focused on it and so on and so forth, your mind is focused on a negative aspect and it causes you to dwindle. It causes you to get sick. That it's like it's the poison sits in you and you want it to hurt the other person, but since you're so angry at that other person, it's just, it takes everything you got away. It takes
draining. It drains your life force. That's the chi. It drains you.
Yeah, exactly. So I completely understand where that's coming from. And then one big thing with judgment and forgiveness is the pride aspect. So with your example, have you ever thought that for the 10 years, which you said was how long it took, was there any pride involved? I feel with my own examples, I feel that if someone has hurt me in the past and it took me so long to forgive them, once I've done it, I sit back, why did it take me so long?
Well, what did we talk about 2 weeks ago?
Exactly.
Or 4 weeks?
Ego. Exactly.
So yes, to answer your question, great question. I was like waiting for you to.
Yeah.
Yes, my ego must have been so high for me to say, I don't like what you did. I don't approve of that. We're done. I'm cutting you out of my life. Not even think of the consequences of how would that make her feel.
Yeah.
How would that make me feel? Well, wait a minute. We have other friends enmeshed in us.
Yeah.
How would they... It didn't make those other girls feel not so great because we weren't talking anymore. Yeah. So the whole thing, because of my ego being so high at that time and not even understanding all of this mindfulness and this terminology of the stuff that we're working on, yes, it made me feel sick inside, and it took me that long, and my ego and my pride, I guess, was too up there.
Exactly.
It just didn't resonate that once you get rid of that and release all that, you do feel lighter, better. And how many other lives did I?
Exactly.
She's happy, I'm happy.
Yeah.
We called a few mutual friends to say, jokingly, we did lighten it up a bit. We said we were talking now, and we worked it out. Those girls are happy now.
Yeah.
So what have
I
done
exactly
to cutting somebody out? That's a real, unless she was physically making me sick. And another thing I wanted to bring up too, this was huge for me. She said in the conversation, she said, well, do you believe in karma? And I said, of course I do. Well, she said, and this is a really smart, successful businesswoman. She said, well, karmically, what do you think happened to me over the past 10 years because I did that? She had hurt another person. And I said, I don't know. She said, my business wouldn't take off. My relationship with my sister dwindled. Like things karmically happened to her already because of this thing that she did. And I said, then I started to feel bad. I'm like, okay, so she's already gotten her, I don't want to say punishment, but she did something and put something out there that wasn't very nice. She got her message already. She didn't need it again from me cutting her out. So it was too much negativity.
I completely get that too. And me coming from my background, my Christian background, you know, karma and all this stuff, like I look at it from the Bible's perspective, and you reap what you sow. So you reap what you sow. So if you're sowing that negativity, you're sowing pridefulness or anger, whatever it may be, and you're throwing it out there, you're gonna get that. That's gonna grow in your life. Hence, when she says that her business wouldn't take off. All right. Well, you haven't fixed these situations. You haven't forgiven these situations, for that matter, or uprooted them. But if you throw out the good seeds, for that matter, rather than negative seeds, and you start to grow that. That's when you'll start to see positivity come in your life, which we've talked about in these videos before.
Right.
That when you put positivity out there, it will come back to you.
It will come back.
When you put that negativity out there, it will come back to you. So you reap what you sow, and that to me connects it right there from my background, at least.
And you don't even have to speak of it. Whatever you're feeling energetically in your system, in your chi, in your life force, if it's off, you're smiling, but your thoughts are negative. If you're not, it's almost like if you're wearing the mask and you're saying hey to somebody, but you you're not authentic about it,
Yeah.
you're still going to get the negative feedback.
Yeah.
You have to genuinely get up in the morning and have kind thoughts, positive thoughts, send positive energy out there. I'm not saying you have to be a monk, but if you're having thoughts about a certain situation or people or an outcome that must be, or it has to be this way, or you're sending out, I'm going to say negativity.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
So it is going to come back to you
Exactly.
in that negative way. It's true.
Yeah.
I've tested it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to tie it into everything we're talking about, how you uproot that problem, to me, is forgiveness. Yeah. Depending on the situation, of course.
Yes.
But with this situation we're talking about, forgiveness uproots it so something new can grow. And forgiveness, because of pridefulness that is innately in us, we all have it to an extent at some point, but the more you leave your pride at the door and you can act out on trying to do the right thing, trying to do the forgiveness aspect, whatever it may be, that's when something new can grow in your life to create a better life for you. And when we can leave our pride at the door, which was something I was always raised to think about, I never really understood it till I reached a certain level of manhood where it's like, what is actual pride?
Right.
You don't think about that when you're on the playground.
Right.
But literally, it's like when you can forgive someone and you take that pridefulness aspect out of it, you start to see a drastic change in your life, and the weight that gets off your shoulders is just so liberating. And we were talking earlier, and it's like when you hold on to this anger that's directed towards someone, or they did, how could they say that about me? Yes. And then it's been so long, or even if they just said it, whatever it is, if you constantly are playing that in your mind, or it's on your shoulders, that, to me, I call it, that's a shackle on your mind. It's a shackle. It weighs you down. It keeps you from pursuing what you want to do, because instead of me pursuing my goals or whatever, or trying to live a great life, a loving life, why did they do that to me? And you're just sitting there and you're focused on it.
Exactly.
But when you can uproot that problem and you can take the shackles off your mind, oh, it's so liberating.
It's just like what my favorite philosopher, Dr. Wayne Dyer, says. It's not... a snake can bite you, but it's not the bite that kills you. The snake bite cannot kill you. It's the venom. Yeah. It's the venom that goes through your bloodstream. It's the venom that goes through your pores, and it's the venom that sits in your subconscious that kills you. Yeah. Or kills us as humans, because if we are in constant internal battle, if that internal dialogue is, I'm never going to be, never going to get, that person's not good for me, this, constant judgment, you're going to be sitting in a pool of venom. Yeah. So it's actually not it's not the attack, the bite. And I love that because it resonates with all of us. Exactly. It does. Yeah. I think that's awesome too. And like you said, it sits in your subconscious. And I even connect that to a scripture that I've been reading recently too, because it's helping me so much. You need to renew your mind every day. Yes. You gotta renew your mind, but when you renew your mind, you're not focusing on the negative thoughts that sit in your subconscious, not the snake bite or whatever caused the bite. Right. You gotta get that poison out. When you renew your mind, you focus on the good, you focus on God, you focus on whatever it means to you that brings you that light, that hope, that love in your life. Yes. The more you can focus on that poison's getting out of there. That's right. And through the mindfulness research, that the number one way, you are right, to renew your mind is meditation. It refreshes you, it cleanses you. It doesn't have to be for 30 or 40 minutes. Yeah. We don't have to go to a temple or a church. We can sit alone in our living room, on a chair facing a tree, and just be for a few minutes daily. Yeah. That's how you're going to renew. Yeah. Because if you're looking at something natural, like the sun or the moon or something in nature or even animals, it's real, it's authentic. That's how we clean the slate, and we refresh. And you automatically, when you see something that's from God, from the earth, you don't have negative thoughts. You automatically think of something positive. Yeah. So it's more positive than what's outside. Exactly. The meditation factor, I call it prayer. So it's like taking time for yourself. I try to take time where it's like, if my life is so hectic, and I'm so focused, what do I have to do next? What do I have to do next?
as weird as it sounds, taking that time to just stop for 5 minutes, me praying to God, focusing on what He's doing and how I'm getting stronger in this moment, or meditation, trying to calm yourself in that moment, just the same thing, you start to see the good that's actually all around you, which you're supposed to be focusing on, and not the hecticness.
Yes.
And it's crazy how drastically your life changes the more you start to practice that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you are calm, because you do your work with your prayer, I do my work with my meditation and my journaling.
Yeah.
That work creates a sense of centered and balance.
Exactly.
And your inner being is just calm. You will see what you will attract out there.
Exactly.
You just start to. I shifted something yesterday. I had done some journaling and I had time to myself. I hadn't journaled in a while, and I had done some journaling and some brief meditations, and I just did some inner work. That's my shift if I'm having a chaotic week. Oh my God, I went out with some friends yesterday, and it was like people from everywhere. I bumped into so many people that I hadn't seen. And just energetically, people were like, oh my God, you look like you're feeling great. You're looking good. This is happening. It's because that's what you're putting out there. That's your projecting. You're projecting something to the world. If I feel good, I want to talk to you. Boom, it's like a magnet. You want to talk to me, and the room is filled with this positive energy, because there was nothing negative, and I wasn't judging anybody, and I just felt good.
Exactly.
Putting that out there. So anyways.
No, it's true. The more you put it out there, the more the good, the blessings, whatever you want to call it, come back to you. And to tie that back into everything we were talking about with judgment and forgiveness, the more you focus on judging someone, the more you cut that off from happening, in my opinion, because you're not going to get the good if you're focusing on the worst thing of, like, you want that person to feel bad because they did something bad to you.
Yes.
That's not the way we're supposed to do it at all.
No.
Just to leave it at the door.
2 wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, we talked about earlier, we brought in the ego again, and that was one of our talks a few weeks ago. Shaving down the ego, reducing the ego, and when you do that, you tend to be less judgmental. And situations that may seem so large to you, like, how dare she not respond to me, or why did she say that like that, or if you're constantly trying to find like little things, you're going to find them. If you're looking for them, you're going to find them.
Exactly.
And you need to judge every little thing, and when you start to let those things that you think are large, they're actually not so large. When you start to let them go, you just feel a sense of lightness.
Exactly. It alleviates.
And your chi, your life force becomes balanced. Your feet are stable on the ground, and your core, your foundation is solid. Yeah. Then you're ready to take on the big stuff if somebody throws a bigger dart at you.
Exactly.
You can tackle it because those little things mean nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Those little things mean nothing. Yeah. I think a lot of us in the world tend to glorify those little things to the point where they're massive, and when you take a step back, it's like, what am I doing?
Right.
I'm going to focus on this little tiny speck right here when this person's done all this incredible stuff like in my life. Like, all right, what are you doing?
Judging somebody because they're late, or judging somebody because they didn't compliment you, or judging you didn't get the feedback on time, or the way somebody spoke to you, they raised their voice, and the list goes on and on and on. We could sit here until, the cows come home and to talk about the ways people are offensive. But when you don't think about that, you start to not notice it anymore.
It's true.
Yeah.
If you don't take the time to focus on the bad, but you use the time to focus on the good, whole life change.
Yes.
Whole life change.
The energetic shift.
Yeah. And I'm going to attach that video on ego at the end of this one, guys, because take your time to watch it. These videos with Andrea have been so informational. I want you to get the most you can out of them. But that being said, Andrea, I truly appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you so much. I love it.
Yeah. Guys, check out the other videos. I hope this video on judgment and forgiveness stuck out to you. Forgiveness is such a huge factor in our lives, and if you can leave the bread at the door and take the time to forgive someone, or just call someone and just like have that talk with them, your life changes in a matter of moments. But you gotta be able to get through that. I think that first phase where it's like, when that comes at you, where it's just like, I can't do that. It's like, if you can just leave that there, that little fear factor, and just step into it, like, you know what? I'm going to feel so much better after I get through this conversation, I reconcile with whoever it was. Watch what happens in your life. And I can only say that from experience, where I left it at the door and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to let this shackle me down. I'm not going to let it hold me down. I want to move forth in my life. And if I'm too busy focused on this stuff from my past, or the latter aspect, where am I going to get in my future? Yeah. And that's up to you guys. But take a chance. Stop with the judgments. Move forward in your life. It doesn't affect you. Whatever someone says, you're still moving in you.
Yeah.
Let that happen. Forgiveness is such a key factor, and run with it. And just see what happens.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Be mindful.
Exactly. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Once a Week. Check out the other videos, and I hope you guys have a great week coming forward. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys.
Take care.
You know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made.